Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Apologies for the constant delays with this video, but I'm going to go deep into the playbook tonight, and hopefully, I don't bore you all because this is a very important subject. This isn't anything to do with dividends tonight, although this does include dividends, so I should say that right off the bat. These 401ks do include dividends because there are funds within both that have dividends. So all the dividend lovers will get to see that. Obviously, there's no yield max in the 401ks, but I am a financial channel. I'm not just beholden to yield max or rec shares or defiance or any of that. So I'm going to defy the conventional logic of the algorithm here and do a standard personal finance video this evening, which I'm known to do. I like to talk a lot about managing money, ways to beat the market, ways to make more money than the average Joe. That's what this channel's really all about. This is a personal finance channel. So far, we have one of you on. Welcome. And if one is all we get, so be it. This is a video I've been wanting to do for a while. Now, I'm going to show you all some information that took an act of courage for me to show. So, hopefully it's worthwhile. If this changes one life, if this changes one person's financial future, then it's well worth it. Um, so what I'm going to show this evening, it's no secret that I work and I make money. And I contribute. I max out my 401ks. I'm on my second one. I had one for many years at my old job that's still rolling. That did phenomenally last year, which I'm going to show you all. I can't even believe how well it did. But I just don't want to get. I don't want anyone to get any wild ideas. Obviously, I max out the 401ks. They do pretty good. My first 401k did 41% last year, which I'm going to show you all exactly how that happened. And then I'll show you the second one too. I'm not going to show everything, but I'm going to show a lot. So let's go into it here. And this is one of the best spreadsheets that I've ever created that I've been using for years. Who knows? I may sell it on Patreon. I think honestly, it's so good I should charge for it. But I've got a lot of smart people in my audience, so I'm sure you all can easily replicate it. It's not hard to do. It doesn't involve any macros or advanced programming or anything. So let's see here. I'm going to share Excel. All right, deep breath. This takes an act of courage for the coach here. So, all right, what you are seeing is a lot of numbers. And hold on just a second here. Let me do this. I tried to make this as general as possible. So, all right, this is so it's no secret. I pretty much track everything financially. So I track number one and number two, and I track some other things on different tabs. Um, so what I wanted to show you all right off the bat here is how you can make 41% in a year. So I've made other little short videos talking about the $1 million 401k over the course of 10 years. Some of you probably think that's hogwash or that's ridiculous, but if you stick to the plan and if the market goes just right, you can get there. I'm not there, but it's conceivable over the next 5 years or so, going the way it's going. So, a couple things I want to point out. So, I track. Obviously, it's no secret that I max out the 401k, and I was getting matching from my old job. Haven't gotten it yet from the new job, but the matching did get pretty good because the old job had a pension program that they eliminated. So I have that sitting out there too, but they put the contributions into the pension into the 401k. So the matching went from like 5 to 8%. So that was phenomenal. I was at a lesser salary at this last company, but I was getting 8% matching, which was phenomenal. So in years like 2021 here, what you'll see, I was contributing quite a bit of money. And not only that, but we had a phenomenal year in 2021. So this year, the account did 38.29%. And I'm going to go into all the details of all these numbers you see here because these numbers probably look very confusing. And some of you may be surprised that someone like me can even create a spreadsheet like this. Who knows? But I love surprising people and proving people wrong, of course. Now, 2022, we had a disastrous year, but this is a classic example of how people more often than not, and this for whatever reason is like just conventional wisdom with investing, you'll notice that 2022, while I just said it was a disastrous year, which it was, percentage wise, the account was only down half of what it was up this year. But in people's minds, it'll stick out to them. Like the average person, let me say this, because this account, the aggressiveness in this account is maxed out. And I'm going to explain exactly why. And I'm going to go head on into this. And I think that I will win a lot of you over into this line of thinking. And hopefully I can, some light bulbs can go off. And hopefully some of you all can start thinking about this and say, hey, I need to do this too. Because, like I say, that's the whole vision of this channel, promoting financial independence, promoting success, wealth building, and whatnot. And so, if I can show one or two ways that I've done it myself, I'm more than happy to do that. Now, 2 years ago, when I went into this, if you had asked me to do this, I would have said you were crazy. But I've gotten to this point now. So let's see here. We've got 8 of you on, no comments. Feel free to comment away. Um, okay, so what you can see here now, and this is what I'm getting at here. A lot of people, let's see, where can I start? I'm not too organized here, I know that, but an advisor will tell you, oh, you want to have a moderate risk allocation because in years like 2022, the account may lose 60 grand. And 60 grand of losses will stand out in a person's mind more so than $112,000 in gains the next year. So, but here's the point: investing is a long-term game, obviously. Um, so in 3 years here, so you could look at 2 years, you could become cynical and say, okay, this made 62,000 in 2021. It lost almost the same in 2022. Investing's a joke. I'm pulling out. But then you had the year 2023 coming, where you would have made 112,000 in this account and still not only offset your losses from 2022, but still in the long run been ahead overall. But with a risky strategy like this, um, things fluctuate a lot, obviously. So, like, there's months in the year 2022, there's months that this account was down 30 grand. There's also months that it was up 31,000. So, go figure on that. Now, the basic layout of this spreadsheet, obviously, I have column C uh, blacked out because I don't want to show you all everything. But some of you that are really savvy can piece a few things together. Uh, Not that I'm encouraging you to do that, but anyway, so column A is the month, column B is how the account did, column C is the actual balance, which is blacked out. I'm not going to show that. Um, and column D is the percent per month, percent gain per month. So this account has had some wild swings. If you look here at the bottom right corner of Excel, the worst month in the history of this account lost 20% in a single month, which is pretty severe. The best month, this account gained 12.23% in a month. Now, both of these months actually happened during COVID. So there was obviously some wild swings there. So, okay. This takes a lot of courage for me to show this to you all. Hold on just a second here. Let me delete some stuff here. Okay, I'm gonna go back a little bit. This was how the account did during COVID. So, so here's the thing. It's important to track. I believe no matter how much money you all make, um, it's important to track things. This is why I preach budgeting and I preach tracking things all the time because you need to know where the money goes. I'm not saying, like every penny being frugal and all that. Being frugal is a good thing, but I'm not saying a lot of people think budgeting is a dirty word, but you need to know where your money goes because and I see a lot of people that invest with an advisor, they don't know, and there should be some basic questions you should ask. How much money did I put in? What has the account grown to? Not just what the computer spits out, but actually doing your own return, which I'll show you. My own calculated return is slightly different than what they tell me online. This is why it's important to do this, okay? Because you should know how much went into the account, you should know what it grew to and what you have now. And the bottom line, what you have now over several years should be higher than what you've put in. But a lot of people don't know that. You would be surprised. Like if what you have is lower than what you've put in, there's a little bit of a problem there, I would say. And that's why it's important to track things. But a lot of people say that they just don't want to think about money. But like I say, the crux of the situation, or the conundrum, or the irony, if you will, is that, and like I always say, to be good at not having to worry about, to get to a point where you don't have to worry about money, you've got to get good at worrying about money. Not so much worrying about it, but tracking it. Tracking it is very, very important. And that's why I think, and I happen to enjoy this. Not everybody is a numbers person or enjoys doing stuff like this, but I happen to. So, let's go over how such a return is calculated here. And I'll show you all. Let me just circle the comments here. I'm not getting any comments from you all. You all just must be riveted to me showing my spreadsheet here. But anyway, those of you that are really like numbers nerds and math nerds should like this. And I wouldn't even say math is my expertise, but doing stuff like this, I've gotten pretty good at over time. So, okay, let's take the year 2021 for example. So how do we come up with this number? So you can Google the IRS's limit for 2021. Um, so let's see, that plus the matching that goes in, right? So you could have contributed about, I want to say 19,500 this year. Plus, so this account got matching, which was pretty good. This got $7,000 in matching, which was a nice chunk of change. I actually missed that. When you change jobs, you don't get matching for another year. Now, column F here is not, F is not bad. F in this case is for fantastic. Um, this was paying out dividends. So these numbers you see here, these were dividends that this paid out. So to match this with this, you can see the number in column G104 matches the sum of this. If you look at the bottom right corner of the spreadsheet here, $26,500. Um, Now the return is just the sum of how this did each month. Now, some of these, so obviously this made the equivalent to what I would consider a full salary even in 2021. In 2022, it lost the equivalent of a full salary. So there's always the flip side of that, but that's only happened once. In the history of this account, this account's only been down twice. It was down in red in the year 2018 and the year 2022. So otherwise, we're doing pretty good. Like almost 10 years in, we're doing pretty good. So, and I didn't roll this one over because I happen to like the funds I'm in. I'll go over all of that. In fact, I'll just do that right now. So this account is in. I'm not going to show you all that, but I'll show you this. I'll show you the total return here. In the history of the account, 106%. Now, here's how you track a 401k. So this is total dollar gain, which I'm not going to show you all. This is principal contributions plus matching, which I'm not going to show you. So the benefit of a 401k from an employer, okay, is that let me. No, I can't do that. Oh well. I guess there's some things you're going to see here. Oh well. Um, Okay, so percent rate of return matching plus contribution. So what you contribute to the account is one thing, but what your employer matches is another thing too. And that should be calculated in your total rate of return. So rate of return with just contributions only, you'll see here these cells. So there's a cell here that matches, that adds up basically the contributions plus the matching, includes that in the denominator, and then you divide your total dollar return by the matching plus the contribution. So I have two different cumulative rates of return here. But nonetheless, this did pretty well. You can see back to 2017, this was doing 22% this year. This was down 14% in 2018, 2019. So we had like 4 years in a row, or was it three? 19, 20, and 21. 3 years in a row, this thing kicked ass. This thing did like 32%. So when I say I was averaging 30% a year over the last few years during certain years, I'm not talking out of my ass. Well, it was 26% in 2020, despite the pandemic, which was phenomenal. Because if you look here, the worst this account did was March of 2020. Back then, which of course there was much less in the account at the time, but this was a 20,000, or excuse me, 20% decline, right? So 2020 did really well, and as you see, 2021, obviously the matching got a lot better when they combined the pension plus the matching, or excuse me, the pension plus the standard matching plus the pension. So I was right. I usually am right. But anyway, what was I trying to do here? Let me see. I don't want to go too far over this way, but let's see. Oh, this is another table by year over here. Oops, don't want to show that. So anyway, the account is actually in a large cap fund, which includes a lot of your tech companies. It's in an S&P fund. It's in a company stock fund, which pays dividends because this stock actually pays dividends. It's in a small cap fund, and it is in, I want to say, like the NASDAQ tech fund. So all of those are considered part of a very risky allocation. Is that right? I said large cap, small cap, because I think small cap's going to start coming back. S&P, company stock, and then the tech NASDAQ fund. So yeah, those are the five. I have it split like 20% each way. Sometimes I change the weightings because some do better than the others. Rebalancing is another thing you want to do as well. Let's see here. Comments. Wow, you all are just super quiet today. You all just must be mesmerized by this spreadsheet. Anyway, or you all think I'm dumb for showing this. I don't know. The cat has your tongues tonight. So 2024, I'm thinking that I'm gonna do like I'm hoping 45% in the year 2024. I think we're gonna have a really good year. I think we're gonna crush it. And the more years we have really good gains like this, the quicker retirement can come. Because obviously, I want to be part of the FIRE movement, financially independent and retire early. So one of my thoughts is that if you can have an account that makes like a salary, a six-figure salary in a year, even if you were to take out the minimum, let's do some math here. So say I was to withdraw like, say I was to withdraw 30,000, which is probably the minimum I could live on. And then you get taxed 30% on that. So you're only going to net like 70% of that. So then you would net like 21,000, which that would be kind of bare bones living, but that would be the probably barista fire where I would have to go work another, the coach would have to go probably ramp up YouTube for one thing. Maybe I could live, you know what? You all could help me with that, by the way, my audience. The more you watch my videos, how about what if I could live on barista fire without being a barista? I could just be a YouTuber, right? That would be kind of cool. So here's the deal. Okay, if the account does that well in a given year, yeah, you're getting hit with a 30% because it's 20% because this is considered a traditional IRA, plus the 10% early withdrawal fee. So it would be 30% total. But still, that's not bad. If you made this much money, you still had, say you did 40,000, right? Say you took out 40,000, you netted 28,000. That's over 2,000 a month to live on, right? Yeah, that's over 2,000 a month. So that's still barista fire, hopefully without being a barista. Um, so, you could live on like your bare salary and stuff. And then if you were to take this, you still made like 82,000 on top of it. So the account can still grow. What is it, that 4% rule? You wouldn't want to take out more than 4% of the account, but then you're accelerating this because if you're still in like your late 20s, early 30s or whatnot, uh, you still got your whole life ahead of you, right? So what's the 4% rule? You don't want to take more than 4% of the account's value in a given year. So that would mean, why is this not working for the coach here? Huh. So I'm trying to divide by, oh, the 4% rule, 40,000, that's easy math. That would mean the 401k would need to be worth $1 million. So if you were at $1 million, the 4% rule, you could withdraw 4%. But if you're making 30% a year, you're netting like a 26% gain. So that's that. Anyway, let me stop the share here real quick. I'm just going to do something here. I don't want to show certain stuff. Oh, here, let's do this. Okay. Um, hmm. Hmm, hmm, hmm. I'm going to intermittently share the screen here. I don't have all my stuff up to date, but I've been actively working to get this up to date this week because I was actually like 2 years behind with this. So let's see. I was tracking the performance by fund. Let's see here. This may be out of date. Um, okay, let me share again. Yeah, exactly. Barista fire without being a barista. So hopefully my loyal audience, if I could get my ad revenue up to like 250 or 500 bucks a month, that would help taking in 2300 until I'm eligible for Social Security and whatnot. If I never wanted to work again, of course, I would rather keep working, especially when the job's not that hard. You go into the office twice a week. So we still got a long ways to go on this video, folks. We got a second 401k to show. So pretty exciting, right? Yeah, you think the coach is balling, right? But they don't add up to $1 million, not yet anyway. Oh, I just lost some of you. Who would have thought? I'm showing you all how to make money, and I lose some of you on the live stream. So, all right, let's share again. I'm going to go back here and I'm going to share. This is what I have for the funds that I'm in. So I've rebalanced since here, but so this was in a large cap, an S&P 500 common stock fund. I just gave a little detail away there, but some of you already know. And it was in a small cap core and a small cap blend. So how did we do fund wise? So I have it tracked all the way back to 2016. I tried to go historically further back, but I don't have these years. Um, 2016, the large cap fund did 7.11%. The S&P did 12%. The company stock crushed it this year. Small caps also crushed it, and it was an aggregated return. Now, here's where all these formulas come into play here, because how do you calculate a return like this? So if you look at sell L20 times L29, this is where I nerd out on my financial stuff. Okay, I really get like nerded out here, and some of you all might also. So to calculate what's called a weighted average, for those of you familiar, you're going to take your allocation and you're going to multiply it by the rate of return. It's almost like when you're in school and you're trying to figure out your weighted average for your grade. It's the same way, it's just with money, which honestly is more fun in my book. Uh, so I had a 15.94% here. The rates of return fluctuate a bit. This 2021 is not up to date because this is a weighted average. So rates of return change based on how you calculate them. But you'll see here the allocation should add up to 100% here. For these years, I only did 3 funds, so I narrowed it down to these 3. 2017, we crushed it, 30% in the large cap, 22% S&P, 26% common stock. Small caps also did pretty well. 2018, we were down across the board, no more than 12% here. But then 2019, we really crushed it. Look at this. The large cap, this is why I moved more money to the large cap, because in 2019 and 2020, this absolutely killed it. 40%, 44%, S&P 35% 2019, 22% in 2020. Common stock for the company was down in 2020. That was because of the pandemic. When in doubt, blame the pandemic, right? Or blame Putin, one or the other, or both. Uh, 2021 was not up to date. So I wanted to show you all that. Now let me skip back around here again because I'm going to go back here to the bottom. Okay, what else do I want to show all of you fine folks that are sticking with me here? Let's see. So obviously this account's done really well. So hopefully this has opened some of your eyes as far as opening up not only opening up a 401k, but properly funding it, right? Maxing it out if you can, because I tell you what, that $23,000, sinking that into a 401k, it will pay off so much in the long run. It's so much better than spending that money drinking, spending that money going out partying and stuff like that. If you can stomach it and put that money in, I tell you what, how I feel right now compared to some of my peers, um, if I had a job loss or something, I feel very secure. I feel like, to quote Jamie Dimon at my old company, uh, it's like a fortress balance sheet. So there's always that to fall back on. And I tell you all, it feels so good. Like Dave Ramsey says, like if you pay off your house is one of the main things he references, talking about feeling good. But when you have a nest egg built up early in life, it feels so good. It's the sense of security. Now, it sucks when you see that the government is running up massive amounts of debt and when the dollar loses 50% of its value over 3 years. Because here's the deal. Here's a quick example here. If you look at cell K132, we're going to do a real life example here. Just say you have $1 million in net worth. This is easy, right? So if your $1 million loses 50% of its value, uh, what's that times zero point 0.5? So what is this? This times zero point 0.5, you're down to 500,000 in purchasing power, right? Even though the $1 million still says $1 million, you just lost half of your purchasing power. So you got to invest to offset that because, like in a year like 2023, obviously inflation is not 41%. So we actually beat inflation in the year 2023, even though inflation was insane. 2022, we didn't beat inflation. That's the year that I said we were just screwed no matter what we did. We were like screwed on both ends. Um, because we were down, and at least in this account, 20%. Some of my stuff was down even more, actually. So it's like we had 9% inflation and we were down 20% in investing, right? So that's always discouraging. But obviously, we've offset it. Come on, I need some more comments here, people. Comment away. Y'all are so quiet. The cat has your tongue tonight. Anyway, all right. So that's the first one. That one is actually, this is the first one doing really well. I'm on to the second one at my new company now. So I'm going to go over to tab 2 and share that. Um, it'll be interesting to see how this does. They do get dividends, by the way. The JP Morgan common stock does get dividends. Um, okay. So what am I going to share over here? Okay, well, I'll just go ahead and show you. This account's a lot smaller, so I'm more comfortable showing a smaller account. So let's go ahead and share tab 2. Tab 2 is the second one. This would be an example if you're starting a 401k from scratch. Okay, so obviously in October of 22, I moved over to my new company and I started their 401k plan. So this one, this one's also done very well because, believe it or not, the coach knows how to pick his funds. I'm a pretty good, like I could be a fund manager if I wanted to. I know how to pick the best funds. So 2022, because I moved over the fourth quarter of 22, so I finished out my contributions here. The account lost $90. So it's pretty simple here. Contribution plus investment gain. This is the net of this. We were down almost 2%. And it was really because of December that year. These got crushed. I max out the contributions, obviously. So 2023, we had a much better year. The maximum contribution that the IRS allowed you to do was 22,500. The account made 4 grand in investment gains. Now, I don't like the funds here as well as I did the last one. I'm in, like, I think BlackRock does these funds, but I'm in an S&P. I'm in also in a company stock fund, which the company stock doesn't really do as well here. The last one was actually a top performer, best in the industry. I would have stayed at that company if I had moved up the ladder faster, but that's another story. Otherwise, they were very stable. Sometimes I question my move, but anyway, um, so yeah, the common stock here is kind of flat. So that's that one. I'm in, what did I say, S&P common stock. I picked the closest thing I could find to a large cap, which is not large cap, but I picked it nonetheless. And then I'm in. I did a couple of bond funds last year because bonds were doing well, but I got out of those quick because bonds were a flash in the pan, actually. So then I got into, I think I'm in a small cap fund, so I'm in like 4 funds actually. Sadly, I haven't gotten any bonus or matching at this job yet. I should get it probably in February if I'm still there. If I'm not, then I just become a full-time coach, right? Barista fire without being a barista. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna coin a new term here. Drum roll. We're gonna coin a new term. We're gonna call it coach fire. Because I'd be a coach. I'm an online financial coach, not a barista. That's what I'm going to shoot for. That's my big goal. I'm going to shoot for financial coach fire. How about that instead of barista fire? At least hopefully I'll make one person laugh. This dude here, Anthony V, I think he likes my jokes. Maybe I'll make him laugh. Maybe I'll muster up another comment or two. We'll see. Anyway, so with this one, hopefully you all are so quiet because you all are just mesmerized by all these numbers, which sometimes numbers can be mesmerizing, sometimes not. So anyway, here's where we are so far. I went ahead and put in 2024 because this is what's going to be the contribution. The IRS was nice. They threw us a $500 bone in 2024. So in 24 we can contribute 23,000. So maybe in 2025 we can contribute 24,000, right? So far, this has made 330 bucks. I've made one contribution so far. Now, what's really cool when you max out the month of December, you always get a higher check because you're maxed out by the month of December typically. If you plan it right, you've got to plan it right. Let me do this here because I haven't actually done this. So in this account's only 16 months old. So this is still a infant account basically. So the minimum, the worst this account did, it lost 4% in August. The best that it did, it made 9.77% November 30th. So November was a tremendous month for this account. So overall, this account is actually doing really well for being such a new account. So if you were starting from scratch, this would be the example for you. Um, anyway, well, that's about all I have for you all this evening. I've taught you all about everything I know about 401ks. I'm sure I omitted a lot of details. We'll figure those out later. But anyway, hopefully this is informative and hopefully you understood. Oh, you know what? I'm going to switch back to tab 1. Let me show you. Actually, no, let me do this with tab 2. How do you calculate the rate of return on this? I think I went over this. Okay. So you take total contributions in the denominator plus investment gain, which is this number, the year over year change. So it's going to be you're going to take cell G12 in this case, which just made $4,084. And then you're going to divide by the sum of G3, which is what I contributed up here in 2022, plus G11, because it's the cumulative balance of the account, right? So you take that, and then obviously when matching comes, all these calculations over here in cell and row L will come into play, right? Also, for you dividend fans in column F, and remember, column F is for fantastic, right? So this account's made 192 bucks in dividends over time. It's not a great payer as far as dividends because it's a banking stock, but there are dividends nonetheless. Maybe I should have started with dividends, right? Anyway, all right, I'm going to stop the share there. So that's about all I have for you all fine folks this evening, for all 6 of you that stuck with me. Hopefully that was informative for you all. And wow, look at that. You guys ran off like the wind. 2 of you left. So anyway, if you all haven't already, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and also spread the word to your friends and family. And darn it, I forgot to I forgot to stream simulcast and Discord. Oh well, next time, right? I'm going to come out with some more videos because I know the algorithm is not going to favor this one, even though this is really solid stuff. Anyway, thank you all. Comment away if you like this one. Take care. We will see you all very soon, and have a great rest of your evening. Ciao, ciao.